Welcome once again to Living in the 21st Century. Joining me today is Vasyl Savchenko, former Transportation Minister of Ukraine. Vasyl, it's always a pleasure to have you on.
Thank you for having me, for invitation. Thank you.
Absolutely. So we got a few things to talk about, but first I want to ask about, I hear you all had a great success of launching some Flamingo missiles which strike hit major Russian bases in Russia. How's that working out?
This missile, which is produced thanks to Ukraine scientists who launched this company, and they have made many missiles, but according to the public information, it's simple missiles for wartime. Because Ukraine's president promised to produce big number of these missiles because we lack long-range weapon. Because just for preventing their opportunities to attack Ukraine in such inappropriate winter time. And this information took place after hit. It was one missile, and this missile has more than 1 ton explosive, and one hit has destroyed industrial facilities. And you know that this missile is produced from composite materials, and it allows to have a lot of a big number of explosive materials. But it's only one from the project we have had since the wartime. Just you know that Ukraine military forces and company which are involved in this sphere have made a lot of new type of weapon. First of all, the combat line has changed. Now nobody can imagine that tanks are attacking from one side, because in different places we have from 10 to 20 kilometers kill zone, where it's impossible to survive Russia's soldiers or Russia's military vehicles. It can be immediately destroyed. And now we are working further. Ukraine's scientists are working together with different countries from different countries and different companies to produce a new generation drone which would allow us to intercept Russia's drones. Because, for example, today's nights they attacked Ukraine's territory for 400 drones, Shahed type, and about 40 missiles. Most dangerous missiles, it's ballistic missiles, and because it's impossible to intercept, and as usual the only instrument to intercept is Patriot system. It seems to me package 3 numbers these missiles which allow to intercept ballistic missiles. But lately we had problems with providing these missiles. As far as I know, that somebody from members Pearl program, which is responsible for providing Ukraine money for buying from United States missiles, didn't manage to pay in time, and these missiles were not supplied in time, and Russians understood it and immediately hit, and they were targeting dozen missiles in the same place. You know that we have nuclear powered station, and they cannot destroy it, and they are destroying grid lines. First of all, high voltage lines and super high voltage lines, and they are destroying. For changing this electricity for consumers, we must have big fields from transformators, and they were heating it. And you know that left bank of Dnieper River is industrial part of Ukraine, and after capturing by Russians nuclear station Zaporizhzhia, which has 6 blocks, they decided to attack a line, just not allowed to work different sphere from producing different industrial materials, which mostly are involved in mining, coal, in mining ore, and recycling it and producing metal, different type, because Ukraine was center of producing metal for military vehicles, mostly for military vehicles, which allows to endure hits from different type of weapon. And as a result of it, we have a lot of projects which are changing type of waging war, but we don't have enough funding for developing. And Russia very often is copying new Ukraine's type of weapon and launching Ukraine. You know that lately they were captured at using Starlink system, which were bought from Arab countries, Central Asia's countries, China, and it appeared that they are launching drones. First of all, Shahed drones, which were equipped by Starlink systems. And now, as far as I know, Ukraine's newly appointed defense minister had conversation with Elon Musk. They were texting at his platform, and they approved type of limiting Russia Federation, and it caused a lot of unsatisfaction from Russia's side, because it appeared that they could use against Ukraine about 50,000 Starlinks from Russia's side, and it allowed them to have communication between military units, and to have communication during war, and it allowed them to use to change tactics, which when they are sending small sabotage diversion groups from 3 or 5 persons, which are saturating closer to Ukraine's, and very often can damage Ukraine's defense line, or can demonstrate opportunities to put Russia's flags, to take picture, and if they are killed after that, it means that they are able to capture this territory. Flag putting type of their strategy. Yeah.
Zelensky had, I think, being subject to correction, had told Russia they have up to June to come up with a peace solution or a ceasefire or something like that?
No, to be honest, Ukraine's president have to tell that the negotiation is good, that results of negotiations has positive outcome, and he expects that we will have ceasefire. But now you can see that Russia is represented by military diplomacy. Military diplomats, which were involved in different military actions abroad. They are not diplomats who was authorized for waging negotiations. For them, it's type of waging war at the negotiations round table, because it's type they haven't managed to destroy Ukraine's forces, and now they have started using their most important weapon. It's propaganda, and its propaganda is penetrating in different countries, and different countries are referring for news from Russia Federation. But you know that any cooperation with Russia Federation is type of cooperation with so-called special operations organized by special forces from Russia side. In Russia, inside Russia doesn't exist honest business. If you have business, you must have cooperation with the Secret Service. And if you have any negotiations or any ideas to cooperate with international company, you will get under Russia's influence. It's type of country. They are turning into a country which are trying to survive this way.
Sorry. How at this point, I know last time you were providing heat services for the Ukrainians. How is the Ukrainians managing at this point with the winter? I mean, it's some frigid temperatures out there.
To be honest, we have bad condition, and first of all, because of so-called during successful negotiations, Russians are still heavy shelling Ukraine's territory, and the same moment, for example, people who's living in Kiev has from 3 to 6 times electricity a day. Now, thanks to our partners, our European partners, they are supplying generators which allow to pump heating, but it's impossible to repair it immediately, and because of it, many Kievans have to leave Kiev, moving to different regions, and now you can see that they have tested these tactics, that it works, that limits of electricity is good instruments, and they are still shelling, launching 100 drones every night. And count on Ukraine's defeat as a result of this action. And for example, when we have the low temperatures, Arctic weather helps them, and they are promoting so-called negotiations, and at the same time they are shelling Ukraine. And how it can exist negotiations and heavy shelling, and how it can work for peace agreement. Exactly, public society demanded Ukraine's president to inform about it, our partners, first of all, United States side, and maybe to leave these negotiations, to demonstrate that they are against. But nevertheless, Ukraine's representatives were speaking, and the results of these negotiations, Russia side decided to liberate 157 Ukrainian prisoners of war, which were captured in 2022. They didn't allow them to communicate with Ukrainians. Many of them have bad conditions of health, and they used this moment for propaganda that they take Ukrainians and liberated soldiers.
Was this a prisoner swap between Russia and Ukraine?
We have information that they liberated 157. I haven't had information that Ukraine's that it was swap. It was Russia's side. Just imagine that, for example. Now they have people who's living in occupation, and many Ukrainians who's living at the occupied by Russians territory were drafted and sent to fight to Ukrainians to Ukraine, and as a result, they are using them as a cannon fodder, sending to storm Ukrainian side. Very often. They are going to Ukrainian soldiers and asked to take as a prisoners and not to exchange them for Russia's for transmitting them to Russia's side, because you know that this type of action is inhuman, and to understand it quite difficult without actual facts. And very often people are not interested in having disappointing news and pictures when Russians are humiliating Ukrainian soldiers, because it's quite difficult to understand why they are unhuman, why they are torturing people, why they humiliating the soldiers. For example, Ukraine is following international agreement. Ukraine is following Geneva agreements concerning prisoners of war, both from Russia's side. But Russia, no.
Okay. Earlier, you would have mentioned that one of the Ukrainian partners who would have came up not short but not on time with the funding to acquire the weapons you ought to purchase. Is the other European allies on time with their commitment in purchasing, giving money to Ukraine to purchase the equipment?
Now we have Pearl program, and we have a lot of projects our partners can participate, and so-called Denmark program, when they were buying weapon for Ukraine's army from Ukraine's producers. And then this program was spread for different spheres. Now we have launched many producing lines concerning charges for artillery, 155 millimeters artillery charges inside Ukraine, and are interested in further developing, because we are interested in producing most of weapon at the Ukraine's territory and by Ukrainian company, because we know that we depends on our partners partners, and we depend on weapon for Ukraine forces, because we have strong Ukraine forces, but you know that Russia has a few times more numerous manpower. And because of it, we have to use different technologies and using robots at the battlefields, using drones, etc.
Yeah, one thing I want to ask. We know at this point that Russia economic infrastructure is really degrading, and that's based on sanctions that would have placed on him. I still can't understand how the affordability is coming out. He launched like 440 drones, and I believe these drones are purchased from Iran. Where is his money really coming from? This financial support that he can still keep this momentum up with these. I mean, that's a lot of drones to launch in one night. Where's that? You got an idea like where he's really getting that financial support from?
As far as I know, that Russia has enough money for waging war for this year. But I don't know how it will be further, but they are selling gold. And thanks to different relations in the world, the prices for gold have grown, and they sold biggest number of gold to China. And for example, they had fund which was formed before the war for expenditures for military sphere. They have, it seems to me, about 20 or 30 billion. For this reason, we don't know what type of currency is forming this fund. Mostly it may be Chinese yuan. And then we can see that Chinese is supporting most of microelectronic for their ballistic missiles. And they have launched producing ballistic missiles in the North Korea. And now we can see that they are still having negotiation with Iran. And you know that they will try to communicate with them, because it's type of country running. They are similar, and we can see that Russians are interested in having different type of weapon from different countries in exchange of so-called their military technologies, and they promised to transmit to Iran their aircrafts, and as far as they have seen in public, they have transmitted helicopters. Their helicopters, they are produced in Russia Federation to compensate transmitting huge number of drones and simple technologies for attacking, because Ukraine's forces doesn't allow them to fly inside to Ukraine, and they are using launching bomb. And now Ukraine is having negotiations concerning to receive from partners long-range missiles for fighter jets, just to prevent their opportunities to launch gliding bombs, because gliding bombs is type of bombs which equipped guiding equipment, and this guiding equipment allows to fly for distance from 40 from the very beginning, and then 60, and now they have demonstrated 120 kilometers distance. And it is not precious, but it's destroying settlements, it's killing civilians, and they are spreading horror this way, and nevertheless they are still having and this still demanding concession from Ukraine side because they illegally included Ukraine's few regions to their constitution. They made huge lie and now demands from the world society to fulfill their lie because they illegally included Ukrainian regions to Russia's constitution, and tomorrow they will include their neighboring country to their constitution and will demand to concede it. And it seems to me it's type of waging war, and it's type of using different instruments which has in their disposal just for domination in the world, because they are spreading bullying, they are spreading lies, they are spreading demands, they want to come back to the grade 8, to change grade 7 to grade 8 because Russians wants to be there, and they included all these demands to the peace agreements, and they discuss it with Ukraine because you know that it's type of war, and most important things to limit them, to suspend Russia's opportunity to wage war. World country have to impose the full-scale embargo, and after that they will immediately follow the recommendation to stop this illegal war. But now we can see that many mediators are making money at it, and now we can see that appeared their so-called shadow fleet, but you know that shadow fleet doesn't exist without detecting when it's crossing straits. Every strait when ships is crossing, it must have extra information. It is not